Welcome to Align to Your Design. I'm your host, Baeth Davis. Isn't it time to wrap your business around your purpose and bring your greatest work to the world? Each week, join me as we explore various biometric tools such as human design and hand analysis and how to use them to fulfill your destiny and align to your design. We will reveal how to do the work you are designed to do rather than what you think you should do. Hey there, everyone. This is Baeth Davis, and you are listening and or watching Align to Your Design. And this is the podcast where I bring on interesting, fascinating, innovative, creative people who I feel are living their purpose, and they also feel they are living their purpose. We find out about how they got into the interesting, innovative work that they do. We sometimes go down some interesting rabbit holes together. And then typically at the end of the show, we look at the guest's human design chart and we take one question from the guest about their chart and we dive in. It's always helpful to have your chart available. I do my best to explain it if you're just listening. It's much better if you watch the show. And if you go to our website, yourpurpose.com, and you click on podcast/blog right in the upper menu, you will be brought to the podcast page, and it has all of our episodes with a transcript of the interview, a video of the interview, and an audio of the interview. So I invite you, come on over there and check out all of our wonderful content and learn more about what's available to you, as well as learn more about your human design. So today we're going to talk about sex, baby. Hey, 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 but not just sex. We're going to talk about being sensual, being alive, being orgasmic. We're going to talk about polarity and managing your internal masculine and feminine energies because they live in all of us, regardless of your sex or your orientation. Your masculine and feminine energies are a wonderful, wonderful tool available to you when you know how to use them. And they can create great pleasure or great pain in your life, depending on how you're using those energies. So let me tell you a little bit about our guest, and I'll bring her on and we'll have a discussion, and then we will look at her human design chart. Our guest today is Patty Alfonso. She's known as the Orgasmic Body Whisperer. She is a sought-after motivational speaker, writer, and leader who has notably changed the lives of thousands. She has spoken in front of royalty, thought leaders, and influencers around the world. She is the author of the #1 best-selling books, Your Body as the Creation of Consciousness and Dancing as the Body of Consciousness. Patty hosts a TV show, Orgasmic Living, where she helps listeners unlock the innate wisdom of their bodies so they can create anything they desire. Patty is also featured in the Netflix documentary, Strip Down, Rise Up, which follows a group of women as they shed their body image shame, sexual abuse locked in their bodies, and embark on a journey to reclaim themselves through pole dancing. Now, I've done a pole dancing class with Patty, and it was wonderful. I've also seen Patty pole dance, and she is amazing. If you want to see classy, innocent, and sexy all at the same time, you should check out Patty Alfonso pole dancing. And with that, let's bring on Miss Patty Alfonso, the creator of Pole Dancing for Consciousness and the Orgasmic Body Love Experience. And we're going to dive in deep to our conversation today. All right, let me bring her on. Welcome, welcome to the show, Ms. Patty Alfonso. Hello.
Hello, hello. What a lovely introduction. You're so sexy. Oh, Beth,
Thank
your
you.
voice is like, hey.
Hey, hey. One of my favorite subjects. Hey. Now, you have a background, I'm looking at my notes here, in sociology, yes?
Yeah.
Body mind counseling, energy healing therapy, pole dancing, tantra, and so much more. I want to know, Were you always this alive and in your body?
No.
No. So where were you before tantra and pole dancing?
Oh my gosh. And you know, I was telling someone, you and I met at a tantra class. Do you
Yes,
remember?
that's how we met. I remember the guy you were dating. I remember it clearly. Yes,
That was another lifetime for us.
it was for both
Um,
of us.
wow. You know, where was I? Somewhere out there, somewhere far away outside of my body, not really present at all in my body, not present with the energy that's available when you have a body. Uh, I was stiff, rigid, numb, no sensation during sex, just kind of like, okay, I guess this is what, totally disconnected, unhappy, depressed. I had no like direction in life. I had a sense that there was something that I was supposed to be creating, but I was so disconnected from myself and from my body that it wasn't like arising from within me because I was just somewhere out there, you know, managing this body from like really far away, really far away. So,
You were the puppet master of yourself.
yeah, yeah.
So what was the turning point? Was it a particular decision you made on a particular day, or did it slowly unfold through a series of choices and new
Yeah,
behaviors?
yeah, I think the answer to that is both. At the time, this was, 2007, 2009. I was in energy healing school. Like my life had gotten to this point where I was just miserable, right? Stuck in like the everyday of going to work and coming home and making dinner and watching TV and going to sleep and just doing that over and over and again. And I was just really bored. And so I ended up in energy healing school. And during my training, one of the things I knew, I had this deep desire. I knew I wanted to like help people. I knew that I wanted to make the world a better place. That has always, like, I came in with that, right? That had always been my sort of like directional, um, go there kind of energy. And when I was in energy healing school, I knew that something was missing, but I really didn't know what. I was like, there's an energy I'm not letting myself have. I'm not letting myself be. I don't know what it is, but something. And so for our certification, we had to find a movement to add to our daily self care and to add to our self practice. And I'm sure that they thought I was going to find yoga or qigong or, Zumba or something like that. But no, Patty Alfonso, because this is just how my life is, ended up in a pole dancing class. And it was just an introduction. And I remember saying, I just want to like really reconnect to my goddess energy. I really want to reconnect to that. And I took the class and loved it. But when my teacher did the demo, I was like, oh, that. I'm not letting myself be that energy. And it was that moment that I realized how much I had cut myself off from my body, from the body's innate, orgasmic, alive, juicy, delicious energy. That energy had been made so wrong in my life that I was just like, nothing going on down here. Just don't look down here, right? And so that moment is really when the journey began, right? It's not ever just like one thing. It can be, but that one thing is just the beginning to the next and the next and the next and the next. So that just led me on this journey of pole dancing and tantra and connecting to my body and allowing myself to be
Hmm.
everything that this myself and this body have come here to be: joyful, beautiful, sensual, feminine, and sometimes masculine, present, soft, surrendered, and sometimes in your face, right? So it's been a journey of really discovering all of the energies that are available to us and allowing
Mm.
myself, my body to be them in whatever is required in any moment. So it's been and it still is. I'm still exploring, right? It's not ever over.
Yeah. I have noticed something recently
Mm,
on this subject that has blown my mind. So I am recovering from breast cancer, which
mhm.
best I can determine spiritually, psychologically came from way over giving, over mothering, over nourishing, smothering,
Yeah.
doing too much.
And
And
not
I come from
receiving
not
that.
receiving
Yeah, the
and not
nurture.
getting equal in return.
Yeah.
And I learned it from my family. And the more I study my family on both sides, it goes back many, many, many generations, this overgiving. Well, it turns out that I am a poor processor of estrogen.
Mm,
Like I'm estrogen dominant. And I went, well, that would be an overgiver problem.
yeah.
So I noticed the other night when I was kissing my boyfriend's forehead, I was like aware I was giving him love. And I it occurred to me because of all the training you and I have been doing, right? I tuned in and went, oh, that's masculine.
Mm,
I see it now. I'm giving love. I'm conscious. I want to kiss him and touch him and let him know how much he means to me. And I thought, what if I just had a mantra in my head that was, I receive, I receive, I receive.
mm.
Now, and I'm sharing this for all the women listeners because the moment my mind just starts running that mantra and I just lean back and relax, every time his body moves towards me, every time he like grabs me, kisses me, takes me into his arms, right? And he's a big guy and I love it. I feel small and I'm a very, very strong willed person, as you know. And I feel so small and cared for, right? I feel petite, like a little fairy. And so anyway, I wanted to share that because you and I have been on this journey together, in and out of each other's lives, learning about this masculine and feminine energy. And I just keep learning myself how to back off and receive,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
how the change in the other person is
Yeah.
instantaneous when I'm not pushing my energy out, but rather at times
Yeah.
letting energy come towards me.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. The feminine is rooted in love, in beauty, in surrender, in opening, right? Those are all like divinely, innately feminine qualities. And I love how you've made that distinction. So we're in that energy, right? And we're in the beaming love to everyone and everything, right? And then we take that and we go into the masculine and direct it and take it into action. And this is just a total like energy dynamic, playing with energy and what can happen when you shift your own energy and how it can affect the people around you. So surrendering into love, right? Surrendering into the feminine, letting go. And that is the invitation.
Hmm.
That is the invitation for other people. Because when you're being that energy, right? And you're just like beaming that energy and surrendering totally, opening into that energy, there is no doing. There is no doing. It is all about being. And that invites the masculine to step in and come. And I was just having a talk with my lover about this last night, actually, about how did we get all so like insane in this area, and looking at um women who are um, controlling and dominating, and how did they become that, and how did the men around them become so passive? And so it's a mind-blowing topic that we could probably go on and on and on and on forever and ever. And I think the practice for us, especially because we are so on purpose, right? Which is really like a very masculine
Hmm.
energy, to be on purpose, to have direction, to keep things moving forward, to always be, um, in that directional kind of mode. I remember I was like, oh my gosh, as a woman, when I was really wanting to invite the masculine in and to have a partner, because I had been single for a very long time, I was like, wow, can I let go of control? Can I be led? Can I be, and I love it. My partner also does that. He's just so manly. And when he grabs me and he squeezes me tight and like not fighting against that, and just like really surrendering, even the way he holds my hand, it's just
Mm-hmm.
like engulfing, and I love it.
Yeah.
And so finding those moments, you mentioned polarity, right? Finding those moments where we can be both in the energy. So when his
Mm-hmm.
energy, his delicious masculine is like, and I'm open and surrendering and letting go, like really allowing myself to be led by this masculine presence. And he grabs my hand and he does it so purposefully and with such like intention and presence, or when he holds me so tightly that like I have to choose to let go and choose to surrender and choose to soften, right? And really just like opening and receiving that energy. And
Mm.
it's been a practice for me because I haven't always had healthy masculine energy in my life. So sometimes that energy, I'm like, right? So I have to like soften and not resist it and get present with it and know that I am safe and cared for and that everything is okay, right? Because the body responds and it's like, oh no, here's this masculine energy, right? And just being uh present and willing and able to discern, right? The delicious healthy masculine energy versus the past, toxic masculine energy that I've been aware of. So it's a dance and I'm enjoying moving in that dance.
Yeah. And don't you think as we become more receptive, less controlling,
Mm,
more open to people giving to us, particularly our partners, that we do attract different kinds of energy?
100%. 100%. And we also, it's also like allowing consciousness and the universe to support you as well, right? Receiving it encompasses all of that. And when we let go of the control of what we think in our minds we have to do, then whether it's the universe or your partner, whatever, can contribute to you in a whole different kind of way that is beyond, right, your mind and the crazy and the limitations and the past and everything that you were thinking before. So it's interesting because this concept of receiving, I feel like we're diving into it as a collective in such a different way. It really isn't something that we have been taught in this reality, in this moment, but I think it's an energy that's really opening right now for people to discover and play with, like, what is receiving for me and for my body, and what is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is that? So you and I are both in relationships with younger men.
Yeah,
And so it's a two-part question. One, how did you and your guy meet?
yeah.
And two, what is attractive to you about dating someone younger than you?
We met at a retreat. We met at actually at a plant medicine retreat, and we both had an ask in our universe for partnership. We've both been on this individual solo journey of rediscovering ourselves and stepping into more of our greatness and all of that. And I think we both just came to this point where we were like, wow, I'm ready to explore this in partnership. And so, um, for me, the medicine, I was asking like, what's next, right? I was on sabbatical for my business and really looking at like, what's the next evolution, what's the next version of what I'm ready to be in the world. And he was asking similar questions, and we feel like grandmother was like, here, what's next, here. And it was actually such a clear experience of the divine feminine, which I was embodying, and the divine masculine, which he was embodying. And I remember in that moment, just like really laying there, totally just like, I also was asking, like, what's it like to live undefended? What would that look like to really be undefended? No defenses, no limitations, no past stories, no nothing. And I was laying there feeling just totally surrendered into the feminine and open, and feeling like, oh my gosh, this energy that I be and that my body has, that I think a lot of us have, like, this is the healing, right? This could be healing for the world. And then simultaneously, I'm like embodying all of this feminine energy, and he's being this masculine presence again, with like the holding me. And it was just one of the most magical experiences that I've had. And we just knew in that moment, like, oh, there's something here. There's an offering that our bodies together can give the world that is
Mm-hmm.
greater than anything we've been doing on our own. So
Yes.
it was so clear. It was so clear. And so it's been a process of surrendering into that wisdom, right? Grandmother,
Yeah.
consciousness, the universe, surrendering to that wisdom and letting go of logic, right? Because, you know, he's quite a bit younger than I am, and all that crazy story that comes up, right? And like, no, like this is the message that we both receive so clearly from the universe.
Mm-hmm.
It, like, when you ask for something and the universe puts it in front of you, who are you to say no? Like, why would you do that?
That's right.
And over time, what I have noticed that I love so deeply about his essence, a lot of it is around the
Mm-hmm.
innocence of life and living and love. And um, there's just not a lot of baggage,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not a ton of failed relationships to
Mm-hmm.
bring into the relationship, and just this really beautiful, sweet innocence. And even in the bedroom, right? I love that energy in the bedroom. I think you said this in the introduction. Really, if you want to see like innocence, I don't remember the words that you used about my dancing, because I also have a lot of innocence and a lot of curiosity and a lot of wonder and a lot of joy. And so having that energy in the bedroom is spectacular. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. It's amazing. So I just love that the most out of all the other things that keep showing up. What's it like for you?
Well, I really concur with with a lot of what you're saying, and there's a moment sometimes when I look in his eyes, and I've said this to him. It's like the mask comes off, and he says, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, there's a mask that we all wear when we go out in the world. It's a don't come too close, keep your distance, let me check you out kind of, protection." And there's moments where it just comes off your face, and the look in your eyes is pure innocence, pure wonder.
Mhm.
Like his pupils will even dilate a bit, right? And I'll see him and see the curiosity and see the openness and see the willingness. And that encourages me to open even more. And in many ways, I feel it is a reclaiming from myself of lost innocence. The places I started to shut down at 11, 12, 13, 14, just that was the age I started shutting down my sexual desire, my vulnerability. I'd been bullied in school, and so I learned how to defend myself very well. And I learned that if I was in control and I made myself relatively indispensable to people, they always needed me for something, and it lowered the rate of rejection.
Mm.
But there was a huge cost to that because, like you, my body, I couldn't feel. I would have intercourse and I couldn't feel anything.
Yeah.
I just felt pressure. I mean, I could tell there was a body bumping into my body, but that was about it. And I kept thinking, why is there all this hoopla about sex? But I knew deep down there was something there.
Yeah.
I was very curious, and I knew, being a very physical, touchy-feely kind of person, I knew there was another world waiting for me, and it was going to require me thawing out
Yeah.
and opening up. And I didn't really know how to do that, but it started with ecstatic dance in my 20s.
Yes.
And then moving into Tantra in my 30s and 40s, and then doing plant spirit medicine and traveling around the world and working with different shamans. And bit by bit, I've continued to open, and I did not die from the illnesses I contracted from being stressed out and shut down. And I feel like I'm living a whole new life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm reborn in a way.
100%. That's, I mean, we said it. This was our Tantra journey together was like many lifetimes ago, you know? And I think that that is what happens with the feminine over time. When she doesn't really cultivate her femininity, we harden and
Hmm.
and close off and defend and protect. And I love, it's interesting when you were talking about like his innocence as well. It just sort of pinged in my universe like, wow, that's part of what I think maybe the masculine is missing in the healthy masculine. Their innocence, their curiosity.
Hmm.
You know, when we look at that spectrum of like toxic masculinity and then healthy, vibrant, you know, giving, energy is definitely something that I think could be added, right, to explore that curiosity. I think is so important. um yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I wonder what all of this will create. I know that for me, it has also been a gift of softening and surrendering and allowing and letting go. And
Hmm.
I think that as the feminine, we can only do so much of that for ourselves,
That's
right?
right.
We
Yeah.
can only do so much of that. And
Hmm.
inviting that masculine essence into your life can invite you to a deeper level.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean the sex itself for me has been so profound as well, because not only do I love this man, I really like him and
Yeah,
respect him. Like, I have loved people and I love their soul, but their
yeah,
personality made me want to put a fist through the
yeah,
wall. And I
yes.
was like, oh my God, if he just had a better personality, we'd have a great relationship. Oh. So now I'm with someone who has a fabulous personality and a wonderful wry way of looking at the world. And the physical interaction is it's all the colors, it's all the flavors.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll go into that dark kind of animalistic, push pull kind of S&M energy, and then other times it's just playful and goofy, and sometimes it's very sensual and very loving, and we're both crying because our hearts are so open. And in this process, I stepped on the scale today. I've lost 16 pounds since I started dating this guy. Like, I have an hourglass figure like I've never had in my life. And I know it's from the energy of love. It's from
Mhm.
that testosterone getting into my body. I have this whole theory about fluids and, in this world of, oh my God, safe sex. I'm not against safe sex. Like, for everyone out there listening, like, yeah, okay. Get tested, talk to your new partners. But there's a place where it just goes off the rails. And what happens for women and for men who aren't in a regular committed dynamic,
Yeah.
they're not getting that regular physical interaction. And our bodies are designed to have sex a lot,
A lot.
really every day
Like,
is ideal for most people, every single day. And
yeah,
so I'll ask my friends who are struggling in the relationship, I'm like, well, when are you having sex? And they'll go, oh, we're not. I'm like, well, that's your problem.
there you go.
No, we
Yeah,
don't feel like it. I said, it isn't about whether you feel like it or not. It's you do it to connect with the person.
yeah,
You do it to have a conversation with them. And it may or may not lead to the best orgasm of your life, but that physical closeness regulates your cortisol, lowers your blood pressure, opens up your mind, reminds you of why you love this person, and you don't even have to orgasm.
Yeah.
It's just get together. And so I've really made that a practice, and I've talked with him about it. I said, I really need you tonight. Like, it's not even about sex tonight. It's about connecting. And he's like, I get it. And so we're really making an effort to not, because it's so easy, you know this, Patty, we get so busy.
So
It's
busy.
so easy to be like, I'm too tired. I
Mhm.
don't feel like it. And we start shutting it down again, because I think the intimacy keeps increasing the more you let another person into your heart.
Yeah.
And it's very scary.
Very
The
scary.
more you let someone in, the
Yeah.
more you know it's going to be a big old heartache when they leave or die, because everybody leaves eventually, one way or the other,
Yeah.
even if you die together,
Right.
the end is coming at some point. And so we're all attuned to the end. And I think what I'm really practicing is staying in the moment, being grateful for what is,
Mhm.
bringing my full self to what is, and receiving that, and not worrying about the future. Not that we don't talk about the future, but not
Yeah.
being obsessed with the future. Or what does this mean? And but you and I, because we're older and we've had a fair number of relationships, like, one of the things that's attractive about us is we're not trying to lock a guy down. We
Right.
don't need, like, I need you to marry me by this date. And it's
Uh,
like, it's not about that. It's like, do I like your soul
yeah. And your body. Do I like
and
your
your body, all of it?
You know, speaking of like the intimacy and the connection when it comes to like being with another body, sex, copulation, I noticed the other night when we were having sex, I noticed there was an energy emanating from within my body, and there was an energy emanating from within his body, and those energies came together and commingled and
Mhm,
created a whole other energy that engulfed us.
mhm,
And it was so innocent and delicious and soft and healing. It was healing. And then after when, we were done, tuning into my own body after that delicious healing, because let's look at like sexual healing when you're with your partner, right? What is possible with that energy. I could feel like every molecule in my body in a completely different way, and there was a softness and a relaxation that was present, that I was like, oh, I slept so well that night. But I think that I'm not sure. I'd love to hear from your audience. They can comment on the video. I'm not sure if that energy can be created in like a one night stand.
oh,
I
I don't think so.
My
I don't think
personal
so.
experience is that emerging of energy, that merging of energy, that creation in that moment comes from the deep intimacy and connection that is already established.
Right.
And that's what
Yeah.
I've been searching for a long time, and that's what grandmother showed us in that ceremony. Like, if you really step into your masculine and you really step into your feminine, this is a healing that can change the world,
It
and
does.
go do it. And it was like, "Oh,
I have
okay.
chills, Patty. I have
Yes."
chills of goodness running down my arms. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and it was funny because I was, working, and I texted him and I was like, Mr. His last name is Pellegrino. I said, Mr. Pellegrino, I'm checking in to see your availability for a dig appointment later on. How does 6? And he was like,
What
well,
was the last part? I'm sorry. I started laughing already.
how does 6 o'clock sound?
How does 6 o'clock sound? Yes.
He responded, he's like, I've got a prior engagement at 6 o'clock, but I would love to be available around 7. And so ensued this texting, flirting, but like it was funny and cute and joyful and right. So for couples that think they're too busy or like they're tired, and let me tell you, I began that text exchange and I was fully turned on and alive and wet and juicy, and all of a sudden my day changed. Right. So let's look at like orgasmic living, right? What is it to
Hmm.
ignite that energy within yourself and with your body in every single moment? right? What is that energy, right? If we can all get stuck and super hyper focused in the doing of this reality, and that gets you out of your body and into your head and into the thinking mind. How do you activate your body's innate, delicious, yummy, orgasmic energy? And how does that energy create and affect your daily life? So
Yeah.
I spent the whole day just like totally giddy and turned on and excited and happy and like, it was just fun. It was fun. So
Yeah.
what can we all create? Like if we were all being that energy in every
Right.
moment in the world, what the heck would the world be like?
What would it be like? Be pretty magical. All right, I have one question for you, and then let's look at your design as we
Okay.
go into our home stretch here. So, if someone came to you to work with you, how would you work with them?
Hmm.
Or how do you typically work with your clients?
Yeah, it depends on what the client needs. I do one-on-one work, VIP work. I do it in person or online. I group work, right? All kinds of different ways. Most people come to me because they want to find out what is orgasmic living to me, right? They want to have that energy in their life. They're feeling disconnected and depressed and tired and exhausted, especially after or in the energy that we're all sort of living in
Mm,
right now. And they want to explore what orgasmic living is to them. And so there's a lot of different ways that we can do that, and really it's a matter of us looking at what does your body need. What does your body need? What's going to work for you and for your body, so that we can ignite this energy in your life, and so that you can continue to cultivate that energy daily. Because this is a
hmm.
practice, just like any other
Yes.
practice. Just
Yep.
like you have yoga practice and you do your yoga every morning, living orgasmically is a practice.
Hmm.
How do I activate this energy right now?
Yeah.
What do I need? And that's a very, very personal journey. Um, of finding out what that is for you. Everybody's body is different. There is no one formula for this. So it's about discovering what that is for you.
Mm, beautifully put. And all the links will be there for any of you that want to reach out to Patty. I highly recommend if you'd like to have some of this juicy, polarized, sexy connection with someone else. So
Yeah,
let's take a quick look at your human design chart.
let's
Bring
do
that.
it.
I'm going to bring that up on the screen. And here you are. Do you see it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So for some people, this is brand new. And for other people, this is not so brand new. But what we're essentially looking at is a circuit board here. And I like to ask each guest, as I asked you before the show, what you want to look at. And you said, oh, somebody mentioned something about money channel in my chart. So I want to talk with you about the money channels in the chart. So
Hmm.
the actual money channel you don't have is the 4521. It's actually called the money channel.
Hmm.
Donald Trump has this channel, just as an aside. I always think about the reports of his gold toilets. I'm like, okay, that would fit with the money channel. However, there are a couple other channels. There's a 214, which is also about creating prosperity, and more about philanthropy, and you don't have that channel. But there's two others that you do have out of the four biggies. So there's the money channel, and then there's the 214 channel. And wherever we have channels, we've got skills. You have the 4426, which connects your spleen to your heart. Gate 44 off the spleen, gate 26 off the heart. This is the I call it the entrepreneur channel. It has other names, but for all intents and purposes, this is about someone, gate 26, that knows how to do deals. And gate 44 knows by shaking hands which hands to keep shaking and which hands to let go of. It's also very much linked to the sense of smell, and you can sniff out the right people. So you may find that your sense of smell is very, very heightened, and you can read people very quickly just by their scent.
Yep.
You've heard the expression, ooh, this doesn't smell right.
Yeah.
Or, ooh, I smell a rat. Or, ooh, this smells so Good. Oh, the aroma. So you're very, very attuned to that.
Yeah.
What's that?
I do, my face, I make this face where I'm like, "Huh? Something's off here." And I'm
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
it's that. It's that. And this channel, it it helps you move through, in a sense, what's transitory. It gives you a lot of flexibility. Um, it's the heart, as you can see, it kind of floats out a bit disjointed in a way from the rest of the body graph. Right? It doesn't have tons of, it only has 4 connection points to the rest of the body graph. And the 2644 is the only connection over to the right side of your body. This is the right side of your body here. So you have this wonderful flexibility. It also tends to show up for people who are good at graphic design,
Mm,
marketing, art, color, form. There's a real finesse around creating beauty
yes,
and also creating money.
yes.
Creating money. So hence the entrepreneurial channel. So it's built into you know, when you have the entrepreneurial channel, you really need to have your own business. I met a woman, oh, a couple days ago. We looked at her chart and she had the money channel, and I think she had almost all 4 of the money channels, and she's working as a psychologist. And I said, you need to have an empire. What are you doing? And she said, really? So that's the thing with conditioning, is we can be totally off from what we're here to do. So I'm really glad you're being entrepreneurial. And then the other channel is this 3254.
Mhm,
And the 32 energy, it it's trying to pick and choose what to keep for the future. In
mm,
other words, what traditions should continue and what traditions should die?
mm.
What gets carried forward for the legacy?
Yeah.
And 54 in the I Ching is the gate of the marrying maiden, and it's about social climbing. It's
Mm,
about social ambition, social achievement, and it's in our DNA. So the thing to remember with any of the information in this chart is it's a binary. You're going to experience the range.
yeah.
Right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
good, the bad, the ugly. The good, the bad, the ugly. And as you evolve, this 3254 uh, would not be uncommon for you to be involved in a family business or receive money from a family business, to build a business with family or with a partner. Um, it has that energy of family, tribal,
Mm,
um, business, you know, that mom and pop shop that has been around for 150 years. It's that kind of energy. And it really is the ambition and the fuel for ambition to create wealth,
mm. Yeah.
to create wealth, in order to create wealth, to leave a legacy. Right? Whereas the entrepreneur channel wants to do deals, be creative. The 3254 wants to make money, to leave a legacy. So you have 2 major drivers in your design
Mm.
to create wealth, but for different reasons. One
Yeah.
is just because the entrepreneur channel, go because it's fun,
Yeah.
because it's creative, it's because it's instinct. I mean, it's instinct for you. And the defined heart gives you the willpower. You can keep your promises, you can be very disciplined, you can stick with practices a very long time. You can hang in there on a difficult business deal if you know it's the right thing. You're like, oh yeah, okay, there's glitches here, but I know it's the right thing, so I'm just going to ride it out, see it through. You know, you're not easily deterred. You're
Yeah.
not easily deterred with this design. You have a tremendous amount of staying power. The biggest challenges for you are all the openness. You know, you'll amplify other people's emotions because you're pretty steady emotionally. So if you find yourself getting really emotional, it's probably somebody else's emotions that you're amplifying.
Yeah.
You don't always know what to say with an undefined throat, but as long as you're communicating enthusiasm, you'll be fine. And you're a very enthusiastic communicator. Your ajna or neocortex, totally open. So what should I be thinking about? Doesn't matter. And your head, is undefined. So you're going to be getting inspiration all the time. And I think you've learned to manage that too, to not get carried away with inspiration, just to notice it. Oh, I'm inspired. Great. Doesn't mean anything. Let's just wait a moment here. You'll end up thinking about a lot of stuff that isn't relevant to you. And so, or you may not always know what's the priority. So it's important for you to tune into your thoughts and ask yourself, is what I'm thinking about really aligned to my purpose? Is it really aligned to my design? Is what I'm thinking about even relevant to what interests me of late? And if it's not, you can just wave it away. All right. So we need to stop here. How was that for you?
Amazing and totally just right on. Yeah, that was wonderful.
Good. Well,
Definitely an entrepreneurial, like before I became an entrepreneur, I would have jobs and I would always end up running their company, which is why I was like, why am I running other people's company? Let me just do my own. And this inspiration now to create with my partner. I've always had that desire, to create with a partner, to have a partner that we could create together and create something magnificent and magical that would last beyond our time. So all of that was totally right on.
Oh, I'm so glad, Patty. Well, thank you for your time today. It was a joy to have you.
Always a joy to connect with you, Beth.
Great to have you. Such a pleasure. And everyone, thanks for tuning in. We have more chock-a-block episodes coming with juicy, provocative content for you. And thanks again for listening in. And thank you again, Patty Alfonso.
Adore you, woman.
Love you too.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Align to Your Design. If you did, please grab my free report, Business by Design, at yourpurpose.com, and then join our Facebook group, Align to Your Design. See you next time.